Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Also, don't forget to check out the free Discord down in the description below. There's also a premium side to it as well, but there's a ton of great free information in there. We just surpassed over 11,000 members in that Discord. So what are you guys waiting for? Join up. You won't regret it. Now, with that in mind, over the last couple days, we've been, seeing some green in the market. Nothing too crazy just yet. If we actually look at the crypto list, we can see that Bitcoin is just ranging around $87,000, Ethereum around $2,000, XRP around $2.40 some cents. On the 24-hour span, we are seeing some nice gains across the board. Again, a lot of this is just bounces off of the lows, but it's good to see some green after having such, boring price action. I mean, right now, if we look at the top gainers in the last 24 hours in the top 500, again, double-digit figures across the board. We love to see it. I know that we're not seeing like insane gains, and a lot of this is just bounces off the lows, but it's good to see a little bit of price movement in this space. Now, a lot of that definitely does have to pertain to the tariff discussions and things like that cooling off, which I probably will be making a video on shortly, because it is a very important subject around this space and what is going to be happening next for this entire space if those discussions continue to kind of cool off, which again, I will address. But outside of that, we are starting to see some pretty big updates from the SEC and even from Congress. Number one, we have here Justin, the SEC to shift focus away from crypto enforcement under new leadership. This is great. And I think that it already kind of started. We've been seeing a lot of approvals happening in the US around crypto companies, ETFs, things like that. So, I think that we are probably going to continue to see a lot more updates coming from the SEC, but also a lot of green lights across the board for a lot of things, including, of course, ETFs. And you guys already know that we're focused on the XRP ETFs. There's over 18 filings for XRP ETFs. So once these do get the green light, I do believe that that's going to be a massive game changer for XRP. I mean, even right now with XRP trading around $2.40 some cents, everyone's waiting for a big catalyst. Again, I think that we probably get the announcement from the SEC Thursday after their closed door meeting around the case basically being finished. After that, I do believe that we see ETF filings getting approved. And if that is the case, then XRP from $2.40 some cents will probably see a nice gain. I wouldn't mind seeing a double in value to like $5. I think that would be great to see. But outside of that, we still are targeting a few big updates coming around XRP because of that case being finished. And I do think that Ripple's also going to expand rapidly going forward as well. But on top of that, we did see a big update from Eleanor Tourette over on X. New from me, White House pushes to get stablecoin legislation to Senate floor next month. Plus, what's happening in Washington this week, crypto policy takes center stage at Wednesday's Digital Chamber Blockchain Summit. Now, when we think about what's going on with stablecoins, I've always said it. Stablecoins are going to continue to heat up in a big way. You could probably already see on the right side of my screen, Circle's USDC gains approval in Japan. We also saw a big update from the Trump media account and also even crypto.com. They're set to launch ETFs amidst token controversy. Now, everyone has talked about certain things around crypto.com and things like that. But at the end of the day, we are starting to see some pretty big updates happening around crypto.com and stablecoins in general in this space. I do think that stablecoins are going to become a much bigger piece of this entire market. I've always said it, right? Right now, we're sitting at like $200 some billion, expected to be trillions within 3 years. So we are going to see stablecoins accelerate in a big way, grow in a big way, and I think it all begins with legislation. Now, talking about that, we have over here the bill is now set to advance to the Senate floor, where Majority Leader John Thune is expected to bring it up for debate. However, before the bill can be signed into law, it must also pass through the House of Representatives, where lawmakers will need to resolve any differences between the Genius Act and the House's version, the Stable Act. The Stable Act, sponsored by French Hill and Brian Steele, is scheduled for markup in the House Financial Services Committee on April 2nd. However, the White House hopes that if the Senate's version of the bill gets enough support, it will be signed into law in its current form. So again, we could have stablecoin legislation signed into law probably by the end of April, if all goes well. But it's at this point in time, I feel like it's almost guaranteed that stablecoin legislation will be enacted in law by the end of this year. And that's going to be huge for RLUSD. It's going to be huge for Ripple. And I also do think that's going to be huge for the XRP ledger and XRP. Now, talking about Ripple, talking about XRP, things like that, Brad Garlinghouse, the Ripple CEO, was recently on Fox Business. And we have here that, as I said today on Mornings Maria, I strongly believe we are underestimating what it means to unlock the U.S. market through upcoming crypto legislation, as well as previous guidance and statements rescinded from the SEC and the OCC allowing financial institutions to work with crypto. With 4+ years of headwinds behind us, the U.S. is ready to reclaim its leadership position. And again, this is all after the case is basically finished. We're waiting for the SEC announcement. I believe that happens this Thursday. But here we have the official video. I know it's a little bit longer of a video clip. I typically do not play long video clips, but this one is definitely worth listening to because we are seeing a lot of talks about the SEC dismissal and what it really means for the U.S. market around the expansion. And big shout out to Bank XRP for this. Check it out.
Welcome back. Let's check crypto prices this morning. Take a look. They're higher across the board. The Securities and Exchange Commission has ended its investigation into crypto exchange Ripple, the latest, of several deregulation actions by the Trump administration in the digital asset sector. Joining me now is the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, back with us. Brad, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be back. Nice to see you.
Well, congrats on this move by the SEC. What does this enable you to do at this point?
Look, thank you. Congrats to, I think, the whole industry in a bunch of ways. As you know well, Ripple is really amongst the very first crypto companies to get sued by the SEC. We said then when it started that the SEC was going to be on the wrong side of the law as well as on the wrong side of history. It took longer than we would have liked to kind of prove that out, and more than $150 million of legal bills, but we're thrilled with the ultimate outcome. It allows us to really unlock the U.S. market, which has really been very hostile, with a lot of headwinds in the U.S. market for the whole crypto industry.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw investors react to it, XRP seeing a gain over the last week. But Brad, I want to get your take on what Japanese banks may be preparing to do in terms of adopting XRP. What can you tell us about the growth story at Ripple when you look across the world, overseas markets?
Well, once the United States government filed suit, we really were kind of frozen in the U.S. market. And so about 95% of our customers today, Ripple's customers, are non-U.S. financial institutions. And those are some of the largest financial institutions, ranging from HSBC and BBVA to payment providers you wouldn't necessarily have heard of. Markets like Japan, I think, are still unlocking. The market opportunity here is massive. You have trillions of dollars flowing cross-border globally. It's still largely dominated by the SWIFT network, if you will. And that's architecture. That's a technology architecture that was developed 50 years ago. There's an opportunity to modernize. That takes time, particularly when you have a government in the U.S. kind of combating that innovation. But that's changing now. The Trump effect, if you will, is profound. You're seeing that in asset prices, but you're also going to see that in the adoption of these technologies.
Yeah, and I think so. When you're looking at the growth story then of Ripple, does it still come from overseas? Or are you expecting a change in terms of domestic interest in Ripple?
Well, we're definitely already seeing a change in the domestic interest. The 6 weeks after President Trump was elected, we signed more deals in the United States than we had in the previous 6 months. So these are very innovative technologies. I think they're going to play out over 10, even 20 years in terms of how they integrate and rewire the financial infrastructure of the United States. That's across payments. That's across even the settlement of maybe real estate transactions, securities transactions. So I think we're going to see this play out over a long arc. But the United States is finally unlocked, and I think people are underestimating how big that change is, and you'll see that continue to play out this year.
Yeah. Now, President Trump spoke at the Digital Asset Summit in New York City last week. Here's a clip. Watch.
Pioneers like you will be able to improve our banking and payment system and promote greater privacy, safety, security, and wealth for American consumers and businesses alike. You will unleash an explosion of economic growth, and with the dollar-backed stablecoins, you'll help expand the dominance of the U.S. dollar. I can already see that the energy and passion of the crypto community is the kind of spirit that built our country, and it is exciting to watch as you invent the future of finance. It's going to be right here in the USA, the good old USA. Together we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world.
And the president signed 2 executive orders as part of his pro-crypto agenda, including strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology and establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and U.S. digital asset stockpile. Brad, give us your outlook and really what those 2 executive orders may do. What else do you need to see in order to see stability and growth out of digital assets?
Well, look, in terms of what else we need to see, I think what the president has already done is, and he has used the expression, promises made, promises delivered. The unlock for U.S. financial institutions is absolutely happening. Banks that were really hesitant and really nervous about touching crypto technologies or even helping their customers. Those banks and those financial institutions are leaning in now, and that's a big deal for sure, not just for Ripple, but for the whole industry. So he has certainly lived up, and I think we will see the U.S. finally start to catch up with the leadership we're seeing from other markets around the world, that they've really taken the lead, and we need to invest here and see some of these U.S. companies thrive.
Yeah, and we've spoken with the regulators about this. We spoke with Cynthia Loomis 2 weeks ago and last week with French Hill. As they craft the regulatory framework, what's most important to you in terms of the regulation part of this? Let me run this. Cynthia Loomis and French Hill with us just in the last 2 weeks. Here's what they said about regulation. Watch.
Bitcoin is a commodity, so it will be regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Some other cryptocurrencies look more like a security and should fall under the disclosure requirements at the SEC. So part of what we want to do is guide what is a commodity and what is a security and provide that kind of clarity in the law so we can let agencies know who has jurisdiction over what.
In a big developed country like the United States, we already have many, many ways to instantaneously pay for things. And this wouldn't be top of mind, but it will be lower cost in foreign markets. You have you reduce the cost of foreign exchange, you reduce the cost of fees across borders. And so in some countries where they have an unstable currency, a weak banking system, not a very good payment system, a smartphone app with a digital wallet with a dollar-backed stablecoin is a good way, even at retail, to do a transaction.
Brad, what's most important for the regulators to understand as they create this new framework for digital assets?
Well, look, the good news is people like Congressman Hill, they do understand. They understand how important it is for these technologies to thrive here in the U.S., and they have started to architect bills to help enable that. I very much agree with Senator Loomis. It can't just be executive orders. It needs to be codified with legislative efforts by Congress. We're seeing a lot of forward movement. A stablecoin bill is already going through markup, and I think we'll see that come to a vote in the next 4 to 8 weeks. There's the second one that Senator Loomis also talked about was what we often call a market structure bill, providing clarity that we've been asking for as an industry as to how will these technologies, these tokens be regulated. Are they commodities? Are they securities? XRP was deemed to be a commodity or not a security by a federal judge, which is the opposite of what the SEC had said. So to see the SEC really combat lawfare and to attack this industry and now have leaders like Senator Loomis and really heroic leadership from Congressman Hill, I think it's going to make all the difference in the world. And I think we're going to see both a market structure bill and a stablecoin bill pass in the next 6 months.
So what does that mean for Ripple?
Well, it means the clarity we have been asking. And Maria, you and I have talked this probably over the years, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times, to get that regulatory clarity so that the customers we engage know they can engage in good faith and to use these technologies without fear of regulators coming in and attacking them. That's a big deal. And that will allow this innovation, allow more job creation, more innovation, and frankly, capital formation here in the United States.
Understood. Brad, it's great to catch up with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So there we have it, right? Like when we really think about what's happening in the US and even around this entire space, I am so extremely bullish on the future for crypto. It's not even just about Ripple. It's not even just about XRP because listen, I understand that I make a lot of XRP content on this channel. It's because XRP is definitely a completely, it's a special project in the space, right? We got to understand that it's been around since 2012. We know Ripple has been around a little bit longer, but XRP has remained in the top 10 since inception, okay? Now, if we think about that, to remain in the top 10, even through an SEC lawsuit, and to be one of the first major cryptocurrency, projects in this space that has a built-in DEX, basically the first DeFi project that this space has ever known, XRP is extremely unique. It's extremely special. But I do hold other projects, and I just feel as if right now around crypto, everything is changing to accommodate for these technologies to actually be integrated, utilized. I mean, just like Brad is saying, there is no fear now. All the concerns, all the fear that was there for institutional players, for the major banks, whatever company out there, like fintechs as well. For all of those players that actually wanted to utilize this technology but were too scared to because they were bullied by the SEC and this attack on this industry, that's all gone. Which means we are about to see tremendous amounts of not just, value unlocked, because you got to remember that there's going to be trillions of dollars entering into this space because of the green light that's basically on crypto right now. Obviously, yes, we still have to wait on legislation. We still have to wait on a few other things. But at the end of the day, we're already starting to see those big players like BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton. All of the big players are jumping in. He did mention HSBC. He mentioned a lot of those big banks that are already tapped in with Ripple. Yeah, they're already here. They're already ready. And they're bringing trillions of dollars of assets with them. So when we actually think about what's going on here, when we think about how big the US market actually is to be unlocked, and we now have pro innovation happening, and we're starting to see pro legislation, and the SEC is now working with this industry. They're basically easing up on the enforcement actions, which is also a big thing. We're now going to start to see so much growth, so much adoption, and so many big moves being made over the next couple months, years. I mean, this is such a huge game changer, and I'm very excited for what's about to happen to this space over the next couple weeks, months, and years ahead, because I'm telling you guys right now, this space is going to be so much more valuable than what it is today. We're sitting at roughly, $2.87 trillion in value. I personally believe that this space easily 10x's from here over the course of the next couple years. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, obviously, to get there. This cycle, I'm expecting 5 to 7 trillion, might even hit 10 trillion this cycle. But outside of that, this space is it's set for major adoption, major growth, and major expansion. And I'm very excited to be a part of this journey. And I'm very happy to have all of you along with me as well on this journey. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.